Greetings, Commanders. This is Commander Atlas Rand, and today we're going to go get some first footfalls out of Colonia. Now, what are you looking at? Well, you're looking at Colonia, and we know that because of the number of stars and the brightness of stars as I'm standing in my carrier. This is something you only get as you get closer to the center of our galaxy, not back in the bubble. So I'm going to get into our rusty Mandalay here. Although I am kind of tempted, and maybe I'll do this a different time, to take a smaller ship, maybe like a Cobra 5, and do some exploration in that as well, because, well, not everyone's got a Mandalay, even though it's really not that expensive a ship. I think it's a couple of million. Or maybe it's 20 million. Yeah, maybe it's the Cobra 5 that's a couple of million. But it doesn't take long to make enough money to buy one, as I showed in one of my early beginner videos. But yeah, so I flew the Mandalay on a live stream from the bubble to Colonia. It took just over 3 hours. And I'm not particularly good, but you can see, I love this effect, by the way. You can see the paint that is damaged and sort of scrubbed off of it as a result of that 22,000 light year voyage. It does not look like a brand new ship out of a ship dealership anymore, that's for sure. Let's go on and get aboard. So here's the premise I'm going under, and we'll find out together. And I'll title the video based on the results. But the premise I'm going on is, since there's so many more stars near Colonia, and since so few people compared to the bubble actually live in Colonia or are spending time here, it should be much easier to find first footfall planets. And it should be not as many jumps, first of all. But also the distance of each jump is going to be smaller, which is why you don't really need a ship like this one, like the Mandalay, if you're going to go get first footfalls in Colonia, because star to star to star to star distances are much shorter. So you just don't need that long jump range. In fact, should I do it? Should I just do it right now and switch to a smaller ship? Let me just check to see what kind of setup I have on my Cobra 5. Let's see if I have more than one of them here. So there's a Cobra 5. Is there any more? No. Okay, so I have two of them. So let me check what the settings are on both of them here. So this ship, I guess I could have done that without getting into it. So if I go here, okay, 51.88 light years. And this one I should be able to see is 23. Okay, so the one that's got the fancy coloring is set up probably for a small fighter, is my guess. Yeah, it's got multi-cannons. Okay, blah-de-blah-de-blah. For a frameshift drive, though, why is it such a short jump range? Well, anyway, this one's 50 something, so we're going to use this one. Let me just check and make sure that I'm not going to be bringing something heavy and unnecessary with me. Okay, no guns, good. One heat sink launcher and a regular one. I think we'll add one more just in case. Now these people might be tempted to put in the pre-engineered heat sink launchers. Something I realized is that these are heavier than the regular launchers. So it gives you more heat sinks, right? Gives you 4. Regular one gives you 2. And you're like, what do you mean? They're the same weight. Yeah, but the regular one, wait, there we go. The regular one, you can engineer it for a mass reduction. And so this one is 1.3. This one is 0.71. So actually it's about the same. But I don't think, is this one at 5? No, this is a MISC lightweight 1. So if you go to lightweight 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 for sure, then having 2 engineered regular ones are going to be way lighter than a single pre-engineered with 4 on there. Now, I know we're talking about just over 1 ton. So does it really make that much difference? Well, 1 ton here, 1 ton there. It all adds up. So let's see what I have. What is this one? Why is this one twice the weight? So this one is 3. So this is engineered for more ammo. Okay. Yeah, so definitely don't do that because you get 1 more for doubling the weight. That's not a good deal at all. 100% more weight, 50% longer reload time. And this one, we got 100% more ammo at the same weight. But this one, equip it. This is the engineered one. So this is normal ammo, so 2. Let's just check here. And do I have them? I may not have them. I may need to actually go to a engineer for the heat sinks. In fact, that's probably going to be the case. All right, so I was going to demo it live, but I guess I'm not going to do that. But I know when I tried this on a different account, what I found was 2 of the regular ones were actually slightly lighter than 1 of the pre-engineered ones. They do take 2 slots, but on the exploration ship, you got slots. Like, you're not running out of utility slots, that's for sure. Let's see what else we got. So no guns. Got a couple of utilities there. Okay, light. Yep. Thrusters are these. These are not engineered at all, are they? Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that's not engineered. Interesting. So that's engineered all the way. Yep. But not. So it's, wow. It's not completely engineered. All right, I've got some engineering to do when we get back. But again, 51 is plenty. 48 is plenty. I don't even think we're going to need that much. So we're going to go in this ship, which is very unengineered. Holy cow. Most things are not engineered here at all. This could easily be pushed up higher if more of these were engineered for lightweight. What do we got in internals? Yes, super cruise, advanced docking, because we have the space. Got a field maintenance. Yep, that's always good. And a fuel scoop. Anyway, we're going to go as is. Do I need anything else? Yeah, let me bring some limpets along just in case we need to rep ourselves, right? So here's a very light collector. It's a D-rated and engineered collector for lightness. Yep. So I'll grab him. We're not going to be picking anything up. So I don't need a collector limpet. Why did I put a collector? I don't need a collector. Whoops. Yeah. So no collector. We're going to put in a repair limpet is what we want. These guys. 3D repair. Okay. So in case we have to repair, some empty slots, quite a few empty slots. I could put in a larger fuel scoop. I don't know if I have any larger ones. I do have a 5. Okay, so we'll swap out the 445. That'll make it slightly faster. For that. Normally, it would be a size 4 fuel scoop, and then I would have a size 5 Guardian frame shift thing. But we'll put the size 5 scoop on for now. And I'm not going to bother putting anything else in here. Again, we're testing a theory here. And the theory is you don't need to have a full-on Mandalay with 85 or 90 year light range. You could do this very easily. I am going to put in a a mining laser. And I've talked about why in other videos. I guess they all weigh the same exact amount of money, or money, same exact amount of weight. Whoop. And this is an emergency measure in case you jump into a system and you jumped from a neutron star. So you're able to jump a long distance into a system. And this is horribly unlikely to happen on this particular trip, but just in case, I like to have it in here. But when you're going to be jumping out of the system, you can't because it's not a neutron, and the jump range to the closest other star is longer than your maximum jump range. So this is theoretically possible, I guess, even in Colonia, although it's highly unlikely in Colonia. There's usually plenty of stars less than 50 light years out. But what you can do if you have a mining laser is you can go, you better hope there's an asteroid belt, go to an asteroid belt and start harvesting the materials that you need in order to make what's kind of affectionately, I think, known as jumponium, which is, I'll show you guys here, which is if you go in here where you can manufacture a variety of things. One of the things that you can manufacture, okay, limpets is one, which is why I don't usually bring limpets because they add weight. There we go. It's an FSD injection, right? So that needs carbon, vanadium, and germanium, which hopefully you can get, and usually you can, from mining asteroids. Or the longest distance one is you need all of these things. Now, I've got most of them stored up, so I'm in good shape no matter what. But just in case, I like to have a mining laser on all my exploration ships. Okay, so we have a fixed ship. Do we not? Oh, we don't have a shield. That's what else we don't. I guess we better put a shield on. Again, not strictly necessary, but it certainly makes things a less risky. We have a light shield. We have a 3A. We have a 4A. We slap a 3A in there. And we can move that down to the 3 slot, I guess. Okay, so that our jump range went down by about 1 light year by putting that in. Alrighty. So let's go. Now we're in Tier, which is 1 jump away from Colonia. So we are, for all practical purposes, we're starting in Colonia. Alright. Yeah, this sky just looks nothing like the sky in the bubble. Look at the density of stars here. So I'm going to start going in a straight direction just to get away so we can warp out right away. But let me pull up the map. Show you guys where we are. This is Tier. There's Colonia right there. And we want to start heading. Let me zoom way out here.
No fire zone exited.
So you can see where we are. Now you can see where the bubble is over there. So that flight I did on the live stream, like I said, just slightly over 3 hours. This is kind of the halfway mark, not quite, but it's a stopping point. If you want to take a break, it's a good place to log out at a station out there. And then I think I will want to fly to Sagittarius, but I think I'm going to fly there with the carrier on a different video. I do plan on having a video that shows you if there's any tips or tricks in getting to Sagittarius and or how long it takes, all that good stuff, and some good visuals on a different video. This one, we're just going to go a fairly short distance out of Colonia. And what I'm looking here is looking at where Colonia is located. It's right in the middle of the plane. And what is the star density underneath it versus above it? And it looks like there is density underneath it as well, but there's a little bit more above it. So that's good to know. So Colonia is just a little bit lower, I think, than the bubble. Or at least it appears that way. I don't know if it actually is. So we've got some nebula out here. So that some areas to look at. If you're looking for first footfalls, do not go towards nebula because they are common locations that other people want to go at. Like, oh, I want to go check that out. So the more people are going somewhere, the more they will get first footfall themselves, the less likely you're going to get it. So you want to go in a direction where you really don't see anything interesting, and kind of like the opposite of the direction I'm facing. Oh my God, look at those stars. So yeah, it was this way, sort of toward the center, which is Sagittarius A, but a little bit north of there. If we look on the plane, or look at the galaxy flat, with the bubble being south of us down there and north being over there, we're going to go kind of, so Sagittarius is basically east of us. We're going to go east-northeast. So in a thiswardly direction right here. And we're going to just see how far do you have to go before you can get some first footfalls, get some scans done. And right now we're also slightly less than normal concerned about getting nothing but stratum tectonicus. Obviously that's always the preferable thing to go for. But I'm a little less concerned about getting stratum right now and more interested in how long until we just get some first footfalls. Now, once we start getting first footfalls, then we can switch the focus and actually start looking at getting stratum in those first few falls. Oh, look at all these like clouds. I don't know if they're technically nebulae, if they're not labeled, if they're smaller, but there's a lot of cloud stuff here. All right, so this being the direction, I should just shut up and pick a star to jump to. I wonder how long automated direction finding can get us. Let's just pick something like this. Can we go like over here? If we spin this around, kind of thiswardly, can I pick this right here and have it do a platypath? I don't know how. Oh, okay, that's 7,000 light years, so probably not. It'll probably fail on this. And I certainly don't need to go 7,000 light years. I just need to start heading in a direction. Yeah, okay. 130 jumps. It picked a direction.
Setting course for FOIOB, ZEFF-O, D6-6055. We will reach our destination in 130 jumps.
Yep, 130 jumps. Now, obviously we're not going to go that far. The first thing that I notice is I'm running my trusty Elite Dangerous Exploration Buddy app, which, let's see here, if I can pull it up in here. That's the guy on the bottom left corner of the screen. If the video is not 4K, you probably can't read anything when you're looking at it. So let me try and blow it up so that it's bigger. And let me do that back here. And what am I adding? Video capture, existing, AD Exploration Buddy. And let me make it big. All right, there you go. So that's the large version of what I'm looking at on one of my other monitors right now. What can we see right now? Well, we can see this is the route that I just picked. It's a long route. It's 7,000 light years. We're not going to go, obviously, all that route. It's based on the jump distance of the ship, which is under 50 light years, about 49. You could see this jump is 180, which means we're going to hit a neutron star. And then we're not going to hit any more for quite a while, and then we'll hit another one here. But what the interesting part in using this app is actually right here. You can see the first 3 jumps that we're going to do have EDSM discoverers. These are commanders that we know either discovered or were early on in these star systems. Then we have a whole batch of stars that have question marks, which means it doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed that it's first footfall, that no one's discovered it, but at least it's not in the database, which means it's likely that no one's discovered it. And then we have another body that someone has discovered, and then a couple that don't, and then another one that does. Now, when you see the same name in a couple of locations, it means they probably took a similar path, or at least a path that crosses your path, because the distance between these is about 250 light years, and they discovered they were first to both of them. So there's definitely an overlap with the direction we're planning on going and what this commander did as well. Scrolling down, I don't know if it just doesn't have data or if the data is blank, but we're not going to worry about it right now. We're just going to focus on the first page of 25 jumps, because we're probably not going to go that far. And our first jump with nothing is for an M class. And let's see, what else do we know about this M class? I wonder if I can tell it to go to that planet and tell me something about it. Well, it copied the name to the clipboard. Okay, so maybe that's all the data that we do have. We will have the bodies data once we're in the system, obviously. But the cool thing about this app is it has this tab called Surrounding, which shows you stars within about 15 light years away from you, which is very cool. Now, normally in the bubble, 15 light years, and you've got less than 1 screenful's worth of stars. Here, we've got over a screenful, and we're maxing out at 10 light years. Like, it's not showing me any more beyond 10 because it's already, I guess there's a maximum number that it shows. So that is another indicator that we're not in the bubble. So going back to our route, I'm going to turn off this window, which I often forget to do in these videos. And then we will just start heading out. And when we get to that 4th star right there, we'll see if anyone's actually been there or not. And like I said, there's not a guarantee. Just because there's nothing in this app doesn't mean that no one's actually ever stepped foot in there. But it certainly is a possibility. So let's find out. All right. I should have been flying this whole time too. So, damn it. What's going on with my screen? Uh-oh. Game may have died while I've been talking here. There we go. Now it's back. All right. Thank you, game, for coming back. There's our route. Let's head on down.
Frameshift drive charging.
Normally at this point, if I was doing a stream, I would tell you guys to remind me if I'm running out of fuel, but I'm just recording this as a video, not a stream.
Jumping to Magellan. This star isn't scoopable, but
I'm
we
gonna
can
have to
scoop
count
the
on
star
myself
after
for
this.
that. Yeah, this is our first jump out, which is going to be getting us a nice long
We have 129
distance.
jumps left to go. You will have to supercharge here, or use FSD injection to make the next jump of 186.05 light years.
Come on.
No bodies
Quite-
match your minimum
didn't
bioskin
quite
power
do
threshold,
it.
sir.
Try it again. Get that charge going again.
Warning. Frameshift drive operating.
Okay, now we're charged up.
Frameshift drive supercharged. Frameshift drive
So 186,000 light, or 1,000, 186 light year jump.
Jumping to EOL Prow, EFFG-D, C13-94. This next star is scoopable, but the subsequent star in our route is not. We're now 128 jumps from FOIOB, ZEFF-O, D6-6055.
Refuel.
No bodies match your minimum bioskin value threshold, boss.
Fuel scooping complete.
Oh yeah, we gotta set our ping. So we want to do all of these on here, and we want to this on here for repair. Okay, there we go. So let's incorrect mode. There we go. Ping it. See what we can find out from this system.
System scan complete.
All right. What do we know? Is this one of those sun only? Yep, sun only systems.
Frameshift drive charging.
The next one, it's still telling me there's somebody that's discovered. That's the third one, and then the fourth one is the one that's showing up as a question mark.
Jumping to EOL Prow, EEL-Y, EFF3158. The star we are approaching is not scoopable, but the subsequent 13 jumps in our route all have scoopable stars. We have 127 jumps left to go.
Bodies on this one.
No
All
bodies
discovered?
match your minimum bioskin value threshold, Captain.
Frameshift drive charging.
Jumping to EOL Prow, BQ-Z, B29-8. The subsequent 12 stars are also scoopable, boss. We're now 126 jumps from FOIOB, ZEFF-O, D6-6055. No bodies match your minimum bioskin value threshold, Commander.
Okay, this system's only got one sun star, and I think the next one was the question mark. The first of many question marks.
Jumping to EOL Prow, TY-X, C15-652. This star we are jumping to is scoopable, as are the subsequent 11 stars in our route.
First discovered
We're now 125 jumps from FOIOB, ZEFF-O, D6-6055.
Let's discover message.
52 with primary star of type K.
No bodies match your minimum bioskin value threshold, Commander.
Okay.
A new system discovery. Congratulations, Commander.
Yep, so all the voice talking AI tools stuff. I'll say that this is a first discovered. If it's first discovered, it has to be first
discoverer
footfall.
of star B. First discoverer of star C.
But there's no planets to step on. Well, it says there's 13 bodies. Interesting. Okay, because I'm not seeing 13 bodies here. All right, so let's do our FSS here.
First discoverer of planet E4.
Yeah, obviously I'm going to be first discover all the planets.
First
I'm the first
discoverer
discover
of
all the
planet
stars.
A5. Planet A5 has a potential exploration value of 2,100,000 credits.
Okay. So some cheap ass bacteria might live on there.
First discoverer of planet A1. First discoverer of planet BC3. First discoverer of planet BC1.
BC1's
Waterworld
terraformable.
BC1
We'll
is
get good credits for
terraformable.
mapping that one.
Planet BC1 has a potential exploration value of 4,100,000
Alright.
credits.
A little better.
First discoverer of planet
High-10 metal
BC1.
world. This one might be good.
First discoverer of planet BC2.
Be one more. Maybe even two more here.
First discoverer of planet A3.
Body A3
High
is
metal
terraformable.
content body A3
Second
is
one discovered today.
terraformable. Planet A3 has a potential exploration value of 2,400,000 credits.
Alright, one more.
First discoverer of planet A3A.
And that one's probably behind the sun. Yep, that's behind the sun. Okay. So, get rid of that. And just start flying away from the sun. So, according to Elite Dangerous Exploration Buddy, which is why I use it, because it just combines everything into a really simple, nice interface. We've got a number of, well, we've got two terraformable planets here that are worth money from just cartography. We've got two water worlds. Only one of those is terraformable. Let's see what the system looks like now that we've got most of it. Okay. So a lot of them with atmospheres. Carbon. Only one landable. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to have much for potential for biologicals here because only one of the planets is landable. It looks like, even though the rest of these have atmospheres, and they're actually going to bring me decent amounts of money from a first to scan standpoint, like the Waterworld BC1. This one is going to be 4 million because the Waterworld, that's also terraformable. So it's 4 million first discovery, which is not bad, but it's certainly not, 19 and 20 million either. So let's get that last one. So we've got all the planets finished up.
First discoverer of planet E2.
Okay. So that gets us to 100%. So that one added to, so it was another landable one right there, A2. According to, here, I'll bring it up so you guys can also see it. ED Exploration Buddy. There we go. So according to this, you could see you got two terraformable, got a couple of water worlds. This one's worth 4 million. Now I will need to fly out and actually do scans of the planets to get this, obviously. This one would be worth 2. This one would be worth 2. So at the very least, I should do the BC1 one. Well, let's see how far away it is before I say at least. Set that as a target. And it's 4,000 light seconds. That's not too far. And then I should scan also A3 and A5. So this one and this one. Well, we're closer to those because those are each worth about 2 million. So why don't we fly there first? Should be, yeah, 300 light seconds exactly. Real quick here. Oh, okay. So, I just realized what else I forgot. I forgot the launcher thing deal for scanning planets. There we go. I'm glad we didn't go out too far. So yeah, can't actually scan the planet because I forgot to bring that with. Should have stayed in the Mandalay where everything's already set up. Nope. I had to decide to do it in a different ship just to show that it's doable. It looks neat and everything, but yeah, we don't. Let me just make sure that we don't. Let's not hit this guy, so we'll just go next to him. But I'm pretty sure I didn't put it on there. The probe launcher is what I'm talking about. Yep. No probe launcher. That's what I forgot to bring. Okay. So normally I would probe this. I would fly. Well, you can't see this, so let me turn that elite video off. So this is the planet. So I would normally probe this if I had the probe launcher on this ship, which I don't. And then I would that would generate 2.4 million for me on this planet, 2.1 million on A5, and then 4.1 million on the water world that's terraformable. So that would be a total for this system of about 9 million or so. Again, just purely from exploration, not from getting out of your ship and doing biology. So you can see this is our fourth jump away from Colonia, from the very center there. And we've already got a first, not just first footfall, but first in the system for this already. So let's go ahead and get the next jump going. I mean, we still have that route laid in. And I could fly back and pick up the appropriate launcher there, the probe launcher, and do this right. But I'm just testing a theory right now. So for the theory testing, we don't even need the launcher. We just need to know that we're the first in the system. And we can always go back and do the scans here too. Yeah, total potential cartographic data from that system is 10.9 million. Which is quite a bit better than you normally get around the bubble, right?
D8-538. The subsequent 10 stars are also scoopable, Commander.
Okay, so next jump.
We have 124 jumps left to go.
First discoverer of
First
star
discoverer.
system
Again.
Eel Prulkel D8.
No
22 bodies here.
Bioskin value threshold,
Primary
sir.
star of type A. First
A new system
discoverer of
discovery.
star 1.
Congratulations, Commander.
So another system's first discoverer. This is all we see initially, so we're gonna have to go into FSS to, and actually, you know what? Let me get further away from the sun, because I know the sun's gonna end up being. Let's do a quick little. There we go. And stop. That should get me far enough away so I can scan without having the sun block things. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. So let's look for the big ones first. These would be... other stars. I think. Oh no,
First
these are just
discoverer
gas,
of planet
giant gas
3.
giants. Okay. And there should be one more of those. Yeah, this one's a little smaller.
First discoverer of planet 5.
Okay. There we go. There's another class 2 gas giant.
First discoverer of
Now,
planet
let's
2.
get the smaller stuff. There's a lot of it. What'd I say? I think there's 20 some.
First discoverer of planet 2.
3 geological signals detected on
First
body
discoverer
1B.
of planet 1b.
Huh?
First discoverer of
Geological
planet
signals?
1c. First discoverer of planet 1e.
3 geological signals detected on
First
body 1A.
discoverer of planet 1a.
Now, biologicals obviously would be a
First
lot better than
discoverer of planet
geologicals,
1d. First discoverer
that
of
it?
planet 1f.
How about around here? Okay, so that's it for that one. Okay, belts. Cool. What was that?
First discoverer
Okay.
of planet 5d. First discoverer of planet 5c. First discoverer of
3
planet
geological
5a.
signals detected on body 5A.
First discoverer of planet 5b.
7 biological signals
7
detected
There
on
we
body
go,
biological
5A.
biologicals.
signals found on rocky body 5b.
Now we're starting to get
Body
some
5B
Possible
has an
occurrence
atmosphere and
of
is level
valuable
4.
species
useful stuff.
Proteasophlamasis predicted on rocky body 5b. Possible occurrence of valuable species Osseous discus predicted on
Discus?
rocky body 5b. First discoverer of planet 5e.
Scan complete.
First discoverer
And
of
we're at
planet
100%.
6.
Let's see what it looks
First discoverer of planet 7. First discoverer of planet 4. First discoverer of planet 3b. First discoverer of planet 3a.
like. So landable with an atmosphere. Landable. So if we flip back to the ED exploration buddy, here's what it's showing us for what's actually in this system. So the only one that has a potential life is 5B. That would be this guy, right? No, that's 1B. 5B. 4, 5B. Yeah, so that's the landable with an atmosphere. So that has potentially 7 different things growing on it. The most expensive of which would be the... Oh, you guys can't see the pop-up. Shoot. Oh, that sucks. 'Cause it's actually showing me... let me see if I can do it. It's going to be clunky. I'm going to try and do a screen capture of the pop-up. And if I can capture the pop-up, then display that on the main screen so you all can see it. So let's see. There we go. I think that worked. And then I will here load up full screen. Can I make it bigger? Yes, there we go. Okay, now I'm gonna switch to that. Except I don't know which one that. Oh, I know what I can do. There we go. Now you guys see it. So this is just a this is what pops up over ED Exploration Buddy when I hover over that rocky body. It tells me this is what the potential is for things that could grow in that environment. We could have an osseous discus. We can have a Phrytexa flamesis. Since its first footfall, and its first footfall because I'm first discovered the whole system, it would be 64 million for that one, 51 million for that one, 38 million for that one, 22 million. Now, it's not going to have every single one of them. It's going to have 7. So there, it knows that there are 7 biological signatures. Is it going to be the first 7 or the last 7? We don't know. It'd be pretty nice if discus and Phrytexa were on there. Phrytexa is usually common. Osseous discus is fairly common. So we could get over 100 million from that one planet in this brand new system. That is the, let me turn that off. And this system is the 6th jump out of Colonia that I made in a totally random direction. This was not based on looking anything up in Spansh or any other source. This was not based on going back to where I've been before. You guys heard the first discovered messages. They're probably not very loud because I've got them turned down. So they're less annoying. But this is just live. Well, it's recording, obviously, right? It's not a live stream, but it's unplanned. I just picked a random direction, semi-random. I knew kind of where I wanted to go, and that is northeast of the center of the galaxy. And I jumped 6 jumps in a ship with a 50 light year jump range. Most of you are going to have ships that are substantially more than 50 light year range. So on the 5th one, would have made, if I had brought the scanner, 10 million just from first discovery of the planets, and then using the probe launcher to scan the 3 planets that were substantial money because they're water and or terraformable. And then the next jump, the very next jump after that, is this system first discovered. 22 bodies. None of them are horribly exceptional, so they would not generate more than 1.5 million in just pure exploration data. But one of those 22 has 7 potential life signs on it. So let me switch over to the bodies again here so you can see it. So right there, 7 potential life signs. And I showed you the list of what those potentials are. We won't know until we actually go there. But you can see that even if it's the worst one, like the bottom, and it's not going to be, but if it's the very bottom of that list, the bottom 7 are still going to be over 20 million. The top 2 are over 100 million together. If it's the top 7, this would be about a $280 million planet for getting first footfall. So the second person comes here is going to get less, obviously, but the first person is going to get that amount of money. So anyway, guys, I'm going to end the video here just because I didn't bring the launcher. Means I also can't scan the planet and then find the locations where to land for each of these. But what I'm going to do is actually leave the character here and then start the carrier to jump to this location. And then this will all be after the end of this video. And then the next time that I do a video, I'll start right back here. So I will have a carrier where I can outfit it to put on my probe launcher for this ship. And then we'll go down to that planet. And I might even jump back one system to get the planetary probes of the last system where I could get 10 million just from doing probes without having to collect biologicals as well. So that'll be a future video, but we're close enough. It should be easy enough for me just to literally jump the carrier here to meet up with the character. But I also don't want to wait 20 minutes for this to happen right now. So hopefully that gets you motivated to maybe go out to Colonia. I've got a video on how to do that. I've got a live stream that literally shows you me doing it in just over 3 hours. You don't have to fly that fast. You can do it over the course of 2 or 3 or 4 days instead of one chunk of time. I was doing it purely just nonstop using a 90 light year range Mandalay and jumping from neutron to neutron to neutron to neutron. But I was also chatting to chat. So that slowed me down a little bit as well. But one way or another, another good, easy method, like the easiest method, catch a ride on somebody's carrier. I brought a carrier here. I brought 4 people with me. Carrier will be here for quite a while. But if I ever travel back and forth from Colonia or to Colonia, I always let people know. If you want to catch a ride, do it. There's a website. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe somebody in the comments can mention it. But there is a website that, or maybe it's not a website. Maybe it's a Discord channel that is out there for people specifically looking to match carriers with people that want to use those carriers to hitch a ride somewhere. Like it basically, they encourage carrier owners to post when you're going to be jumping, what you're going to be jumping to, and how long of a path you're going to take. Meaning, are you going to just keep jumping for 12 hours straight to get from A to B, or are you going to do like 1 or 2 jumps a day and take a nice leisurely path? But if you don't want to fly to Colonia, hitch a ride on the carrier. Once you're here, remember, you've got all the engineers, so you can still engineer anything you want. And you're going to be able to, once you unlock them, to put in the each engineer to have one item that they can do remotely for you, just like the guys down in the bubble. So it expands your engineers by 4, basically. And look how easy this was. I was able to just sort of point to a direction in the map and then fly out, and with no preparation, no anything, find this system that has 7 life signs where it's, well, we'll find out, I guess, in the next video, but it's going to be anywhere between 20 million, maybe 25 million on the low end, and 280 million on the high end for what we're going to be able to generate from this single planet in this system, literally 6 jumps out of Colonia. So come and check it out, guys. Colonia is waiting for all the exploration. It is way easier here. All our conversations about jumping 30 or 40 jumps to get out of the bubble just to have a discovery, they're all kind of moot points out here. And it's beautiful. And I'll show you where we came from. So, I had that huge long path of flying out like 7,000 light years, knowing I wasn't going to go that far. I just did it to pick a direction. But you can see there's Colonia right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 jumps out is where we are. And Colonia is so full of stars, as I'm moving around, they're swishing by you, that it is super easy to find things that no one's been to. You want to make millions and millions? You want to make billions? Very easily. Fly out to Colonia, start doing biologicals. You don't need anything fancy. You don't even need a 90 light year Mandalay. You can have any ship. Literally any ship can do it. I prefer smaller ships just because they're more nimble, easier to land. Mandalay is pretty easy as well, but certainly this Cobra Mark V is pretty good. But any ship will do it. And you'll be able to make all the money that you're going to need for the next year worth of gameplay with the new ship coming in. If you want to do more colonization, you're going to spend money. I mean, colonization costs money. You don't really make money on it. Maybe you break even, but I think I actually lost money on my colonization. But anyway, easy way to make money in Colonia. Just by doing biological scans. You can even make money without landing, without doing biologicals, just from scanning and finding new interesting worlds like water worlds or terraformable. That'll just take you longer. Like 10 million on my 5th jump out was pretty lucky. Not every system we're going to go to is going to generate 10 million in exploration data. But certainly it's going to be very easy to get first footfall biologicals. And even the bacteria, the shittiest of the biologicals, is still going to get you around 10 million if it's a first footfall. So, yeah, Easy money, guys. I'm going to end the video here. We'll catch you in the next one. Look for part 2 of this if you are interested in seeing how things turned out. But I hope that just this video is enough to motivate you. This super short video, as I like to say, is enough to motivate you to get your ass out to Colonia and then start doing some exploration, start doing some biological scans, start making some money. And it's just gorgeous here, guys. I mean, there's no two ways about it. With nebulas, the view of the sky, the stars. You just don't get this in the bubble. Like, you don't get this view. It is awesome. We'll catch you on the next one.